Against all odds, war, dictatorship and disasters, Indonesia exists. How? The answer is shocking. Imagine a country that should never exist. Thousands of islands, hundreds of languages, and dozens of religions. Yet here it is, Indonesia, defying geography and history, surviving colonization, war, dictatorship, and disasters to become one of the world's most resilient nations. Want to know more? Chapter 1. A nation of impossible diversity. Have you ever imagined a country where people don't just speak 2 or 3 languages, but over 700? Welcome to Indonesia, the world's largest archipelago, stretching across more than 17,000 islands. It is home to over 270 million people and more than 300 ethnic groups, each with its traditions, dialects, and cuisines. On one island, elegant Balinese dancers move gracefully in temple courtyards. Travel east to Sulawesi, and the Toraja celebrate life through elaborate funeral ceremonies. Further east, in Papua, tribes live close to nature in stilt houses, wearing traditional attire that has survived centuries. It's almost like stepping into 100 different worlds under one flag, the red and white Merah Putih. In many countries, such diversity sparks division, but Indonesia chose a different path. Its motto, Bhinneka Tunggal Ika, unity in diversity, is the glue holding this improbable nation together. Chapter 2. Forged in colonial chains. Here's the irony. Indonesia did not unite itself naturally. For centuries, the islands lived almost entirely separate lives. The Acehnese in the west traded with Arabs, the Javanese kingdoms in the center built their courts and armies, while Papuan tribes in the east remained isolated in their jungles and mountains. The thought of all these groups forming one nation would have sounded impossible. What stitched them together? Colonialism. First came the Portuguese and British, but it was the Dutch East India Company, VOC, and later the Dutch government that imposed control. They forced farmers into the cultivation system, demanding crops like coffee and sugar for export, leaving locals struggling to survive. Heavy taxes, forced labor, and brutal punishments became everyday realities. And yet, in this shared suffering, something unexpected happened. People who had little in common suddenly discovered one thing they all shared: resentment of their colonizers. Slowly, this resentment gave birth to a radically new identity. Indonesia, a nation that had never existed before, was suddenly imagined into being. Isn't it strange? That unity came not from harmony, but from oppression. Chapter 3. The birth of a fragile republic. Fast forward to 1945, World War II had left Asia in ruins, and Indonesia had just endured 3 years of brutal Japanese occupation. On August 17, 1945, Sukarno and Muhammad Hatta proclaimed independence in Jakarta. For Indonesians, it was a moment of hope, the beginning of a dream. The Dutch returned, determined to reclaim their colony, sparking a 4-year war of independence. Young fighters, armed with bamboo spears, faced European armies with machine guns and tanks. Yet, fueled by determination, they held their ground. Heroes like Sudirman, who led troops even while gravely ill, became symbols of resistance. By 1949, the Dutch recognized Indonesian sovereignty, but the new republic was weak, broke, and fractured. Its islands were separated by oceans, communications were poor, and loyalties often remained local. Infrastructure was minimal, industries were destroyed, and poverty was widespread. Many doubted the country would survive. Yet, against all odds, the fragile republic endured and gradually transformed into one of the world's most remarkable success stories. Chapter 4. Holding together a fractured map. Look at a world map. Indonesia stretches over 5,000 kilometers, nearly the width of the continental United States, but instead of one landmass, it is broken into thousands of islands. Governing such a place is like holding water in your hands, each drop threatening to slip away. Every island has its own culture, its rhythm, and for much of history, its own identity. Unity was never guaranteed. In Aceh, rebels fought for independence for decades, fueled by religion and control of oil resources. Papua, in the Far East, has long resisted Jakarta's rule. Even in Kalimantan and Sulawesi, whispers of autonomy surfaced whenever the central government seemed distant. At times, Indonesia seemed less a nation than a patchwork quilt, always on the verge of unraveling. Nature added to the challenge. Sitting atop the ring of fire, Indonesia experiences frequent earthquakes and volcanic eruptions. The 2004 tsunami struck Aceh with unimaginable force, killing more than 160,000 people and destroying entire villages. Yet, despite rebellion, disasters, and political turmoil, Indonesia has endured. What holds it together? Is it military power, ideology, or something deeper? A collective decision to keep choosing the identity of Indonesian over narrower loyalties? The true miracle is that every day its people prefer to keep this nation alive against all odds. Chapter 5: Dictatorship and Democracy. Indonesia's story becomes even more unbelievable under decades of authoritarian rule. First came Sukarno, who tried balancing nationalism, socialism, and religious diversity, but by the mid-1960s, political instability and economic chaos were tearing the nation apart. In 1966, General Suharto seized power. His iron-fisted regime crushed dissent, silenced opponents, and ruled through fear. Yet paradoxically, it also brought rapid economic growth. By the 1980s, Indonesia was hailed as an Asian tiger, with skyscrapers rising in Jakarta, roads and bridges connecting islands, and millions lifted out of poverty. The nation seemed unstoppable, at least on the surface. Then came 1998. The Asian financial crisis hit hard. Inflation soared, unemployment rose, and riots engulfed cities. Suharto, after 32 years of rule, finally stepped down. Many predicted Indonesia would fragment, unable to survive freedom after decades of dictatorship. But instead, something remarkable happened. Indonesia embraced democracy, holding free elections, encouraging political participation, and allowing citizens a voice in shaping their future. A country that wasn't supposed to survive dictatorship somehow survived freedom, proving that resilience is not just inherited, it is chosen. And here's a question for you. How does a nation recover from fear and oppression and turn it into hope? Indonesia answers that every day. Chapter 6: Faith and Tolerance Under Strain. Indonesia is the world's largest Muslim majority nation, but it is not an Islamic state. Its founding philosophy, Pancasila, guarantees pluralism, allowing people to practice Islam, Christianity, Hinduism, Buddhism, and traditional beliefs side by side. Mosques tower over churches in Jakarta, Hindu temples flourish in Bali, and Christian churches stand alongside Muslim communities in North Sumatra, a living mosaic of faiths. Yet harmony is fragile, tensions flare, and violence sometimes erupts, like the 2002 Bali bombings or past religious disputes in Ambon. Still, Indonesians often choose tolerance. Communities celebrate festivals together, help neighbours during disasters, and find ways to live side by side despite differences. How many countries could endure thousands of islands, hundreds of languages, centuries of conflict, and frequent natural disasters, yet still maintain a shared identity? Indonesia does it every day by embracing faith as a bridge, not a barrier. Chapter 7: The Miracle of Indonesia's Survival. Step back and look at Indonesia in its entirety. Thousands of islands, over 270 million people, hundreds of languages, and countless cultures. By almost every measure, this nation should not exist. Geography alone would make it impossible. Cultural and religious diversity could have torn it apart. History seemed to conspire against it. Colonization, war, dictatorship, natural disasters, and separatist movements, and yet, here it is, alive, thriving, and resilient. From the bustling streets of Jakarta to the serene rice terraces of Bali, from the remote highlands of Papua to the oil fields of Kalimantan, Indonesia pulses with life. Its economy grows, cities expand, and democracy continues to strengthen. Yet its real miracle is not skyscrapers or GDP, it is the people. Every day, Indonesians choose unity over division, tolerance over conflict, and identity over fragmentation. Its survival is rooted in a shared belief in Indonesia itself, a commitment passed through generations that being Indonesian is stronger than being Javanese, Balinese, or Papuan. Resilience forged by centuries of struggle, colonial oppression, wars of independence, authoritarian rule, and natural disasters has taught Indonesians to endure and adapt. Indonesia is more than a nation, it is a living testament to human perseverance and hope. It challenges every expectation, defies every prediction, and continues to thrive where logic says it shouldn't. Its people prove that sometimes the impossible can become reality. Indonesia is more than a country, it is a miracle. Its people choose unity over division and resilience over despair, proving that the impossible can survive. If you enjoyed this journey, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more incredible stories from around the world.